Man, I used to play the trap spot, propped on the block like I was part of the backdrop. Now it's scale, props, effects, and backdrops. The right lighting, you never catch me biting. Say you make it look so real when you pose the figures fighting. I caught lightning, stuck it in the detour. Replicate epic scenes from the Creed War. Compose pieces with artists that span the globe. Fearsome foes, Spidey in the picture perfect pose. Insert the comic book cutout to shoot a show. Oh, you ain't know? Yo, everybody know me. I made nerds cool, cool nerd like my man Zobi. Took the everyday display, gave it a spark. Welcome to articulated comic book art.
That's crispy.
So I'm back looking at my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2016. If you haven't already checked out my top 10 action figures of 2016, then you should check that out first. I did a video just chronicling my overall picks from every toy line first, and now I'm narrowing it down just to Marvel Legends, which, as most of you know, is my favorite toy line. This is the line that got me back into collecting after a long hiatus. This is what really kickstarted the displaying and collecting community into hyperdrive, in my opinion. I think Marvel Legends has done a huge service to collectors worldwide and has really kicked things off in a big way for the displaying community in particular. So this was very difficult for me to narrow this down. This is pretty much all of my top picks here. I'll go through the top 10, but this is some of the things that I really enjoyed this year from Marvel Legends, with quite a few honorable mentions. So let's get started. Coming in at number 10 was the Sandman Build-A-Figure Wave Jackal figure. This figure was released right at the end of 2016, and surprisingly it still made my list. I think this was a sleeper hit. I think they did an excellent job with the paint apps on this figure. It was a brand new body mold, brand new figure, a figure that has never been produced in 6-inch form before. I'm always a fan of that, and they did just such a great job with simulating the hairy body for this figure. No real accessories or anything, and still it made my list, man. I think this figure came out great. Coming in at number 9 was the Absorbent Man Build-A-Figure. And as far as me picking figures for my top 10 or any top list, one of the criteria is that they have to trump the original figure, whether it been from Toy Biz or if Hasbro was trying to take another crack at it and they originally made the figure. And this figure absolutely trumped what was the best Absorbent Man figure that we've had for a long time, which was that Toy Biz version. It was bigger, it was better, it had the interchangeable parts. One of my only gripes with the figure was that it didn't was that the ball and chain was recycled from that Thunderball figure, and it was a horrible color and it was just terrible. So I ended up taking the ball and chain from the original Toy Biz version, and that made the figure complete in my opinion. Also, I like the fact that they ended up using some of the same parts for the Sandman Build-A-Figure, which didn't make my list at all. But being that they did use some of the same parts, it does allow you to kit bash the Sandman Build-A-Figure into a normal bath, which I'll show in another video at some point. But the Absorbent Man Build-A-Figure looked great. I think the head sculpt looked menacing. The interchangeable arms were great. The size of him alone was tremendous. So I think this one came out really nice. This was my 9th pick. And talking about the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure, definitely deserves to be here amongst some of the best of the year. But I don't know if it edged out the Absorbent Man Build-A-Figure just in terms of trumping the original version. Now, don't get me wrong, this figure definitely trumps the Toy Biz version, but I think that the Absorbent Man does a much better job of trumping the original Toy Biz version, and that's probably why I picked that one over Juggernaut and why he got a slot in the top 10. But I really do like this Juggernaut figure, and it's one of those figures that you got to get in hand to really appreciate him. Maybe it could have been just a tad bit taller, maybe, or they could have connected the helmet to the body, or the head to the body, just a little bit better. I've seen some people swapping out this head and doing some different things. My man Dave Castle had the unmasked head that he cast from the original Toy Biz version. And, it's definitely cool for kit bashing and doing some different things. Definitely deserves a mention. My eighth pick was the Venom figure from the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, and we've been long overdue for a Venom figure. I think this figure trumps all of the other 6-inch Venoms that we've gotten in the past, and that was part of the reason that it made my list. The interchangeable heads, the interchangeable hands, the size of him, the way that he scales with the pizza spotty, all of those things factored in, and I think this figure came out great. The only other Venom figure that may be rivaling this one is probably the Marvel Select version, which is 7-inch scale and not really in scale with Marvel Legends, where you can kind of finesse it though. But I think this figure came out great, and I love the way it pairs up with some other Spider-Man figures. And just a quick honorable mention, I think I need to mention Nuke, which is down here on the front on the right, sitting in the chair. I love the way that figure came out. Same body mold as the Venom figure. I think they did really, really good on the Nuke figure. Couldn't quite make my top 10, especially not over Venom, but the figure is excellent. If you don't have that particular figure, you should definitely pick them up. The interchangeable heads, the fact that you can take off the vest and have him shirtless, the way he kind of towers over Captain America and Daredevil. Always want my villains to be imposing and bigger than the heroes, and they just did an excellent job with Nuke. Coming in at number 7 was the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent slash Nick Fury slash whatever that other guy's name is, Dirk something. And this was obviously better than the original S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that we got some time ago from Hasbro. So Hasbro going back and being able to trump themselves is a great thing. I love the fact that you can do Nick Fury or this other fella here, or you can have the helmeted heads for the agents. Army building is a huge part of A.C.B.A. and collecting and displaying, and that's one of the funnest things about displaying, in my opinion. And I love the way these guys came out. They're great for just getting knocked around by the enemies, or building up your army and having some superheroes running alongside of them. I really like the way these figures came out. I love the possibilities for swapping on different heads and giving you different agents, and the fact that their hands are gloved, and you can go with a white agent, black agent, Hispanic agent, doesn't matter, Asian, so I really like that. A lot of playability, a lot of fun factor with these. Forgot to mention that the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were from the MCU Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave, as was Nuke. Coming in at number 6 was the Dormammu Build-A-Figure wave Iron Fist figure. This was another one that was released sort of late in the year, but Karate Dude, I'm going with that all day. If they give him the right articulation, and this was the updated costume that everybody wanted from Jump anyway, and I think it was a step up from the last Iron Fist, which was still great, but that mold that they used on the one with the white suit was a little blocky. This one, you can really, really get him into some dynamic poses. It's the same mold as the Pizza Spidey mold, so really, really cool here. Only other thing that would have been nice is if they gave us an interchangeable head, a Danny Rand unmasked head, but the fact that you could do the gloved hands and the hands representing his power set with the Iron Fist, and they gave you those little fiery attachments as well. I think this figure came out really, really nice. Coming in at number 5 was the two Spideys from the Space Venom Build-A-Figure wave, the Ultimate Peter Parker, Ultimate Miles Morales. I talked about them in my top 10 figures of 2016 video, and they actually made the list here at number 5. I love this new teenage Buck. I love the possibilities for other characters on this Buck. We're going to be getting the Kid Nova on this Buck sometime in 2017 in the Guardians of the Galaxy wave. And these guys just look cool, man. They look great when you match them up against other villains. The villains look imposing, and they just look really, really good. I'm excited to finish out the all-new Avengers team with Miles Morales. One thing I did not like, though, was that they screwed up the head sculpt on Miles Morales. They definitely didn't get the likeness right. They did a great job with Peter, but just these Bucks alone made them got them into my top 10. So great figures here. Coming in at number 4 was the Walgreens exclusive Punisher figure. And this is another one that we've been waiting for a while, a Jim Lee-esque style Punisher. This one I think definitely trumps all of the other Punishers that we've gotten from Toy Biz or Hasbro. I think the Series 4 Punisher is probably one of the best ones that we've got. And the great thing about this new one is that you can kit bash it to death. You can do so much kit bashing, and you can take parts from the Series 4 Punisher, from all of the Punishers that we've had so far, and put together your kind of ultimate Punisher. One of the things that was just terrible about the figure, though, was that they didn't include any trigger fingers, but with an X-Acto, you can definitely remedy that. Just the kit bashing possibilities alone for this guy was great. The other head sculpt was kind of funny style. I didn't like it, but you can use that just for like a goon or for something else. But I think this figure came out great. It's the best Punisher that we've gotten so far from Marvel Legends, in my opinion. And just a couple of honorable mentions. I got to mention Namor, which was the other, or Namor. People always laughing at me because I say Namor, but Namor, which was the other Walgreens exclusive from this year, which was a great figure. He just couldn't beat out Punisher for me, but I love this figure. I think the figure came out great. I like the fact that they gave us the interchangeable hands. The trident was kind of suspect, but the figure was great. And with the same mold, we got the Captain America figure, which I've been saying is my definitive Captain America. But I think that they can do better. I think that they can put Captain America on the mold for the Spider UK figure at some point, which I'll talk about momentarily. And we can get a better Cap. But I really, really do like this Cap and the way he fits in with other Avengers and other figures from Marvel Legends. Coming in at number 3 was the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Deadpool figure. Definitely the best Deadpool that we have from Toy Biz or Hasbro. Trumps every Deadpool that has ever been out. Loads of accessories. He didn't come with any Build-A-Figure part, but it didn't matter. You got everything that you needed. Probably could have used a little more paint detailing on some of the guns. We finally got him to get paired up properly with Hitmonkey and for them to look right aesthetically and be comic book accurate. And the interchangeable head, all of that stuff was just spot on. The taco, the accessories alone, man, it was just great. Finally, a really, really good Deadpool figure. And it's nothing like a legend, man. It's nothing like being able to just pose him up and do crazy stuff and not worrying about anything chipping or breaking or anything like that. So, man, this guy had to make my list. Number just 3. A couple honorable mentions. Rogue from the same wave, from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, was a great figure. I got to echo some of the same sentiments as my man Slings a Web. I did see his video, even though I said I wouldn't look at anybody's video. I did actually see his video, and he said something that really stood out to me, was that no female characters made his top 10 because Hasbro needs to step it up with the articulation, and I agree 110%. They've done some really, really nice things with some of these female characters, but they definitely need to step it up. I actually forgot to mention Silk, which was another great female character that came out this year. I actually should have talked about her when I talked about the two Ultimate Spideys, but they did a great thing with her head sculpt, and you can use that as Psylocke or as unmasked Spider-Woman, and all of those things are great. But again, they've got to step it up and give these females more articulation. And in talking about that, let's talk about Mockingbird, who was another great release from Hasbro. Definitely couldn't make my top 10 for the reasons that I mentioned, but one of the best female figures that we've got in terms of articulation. Her range of motion was very, very good, and I'd like to see Hasbro go deeper into that direction and finally give us some females with an ab crunch, with double jointed elbows, with all of that stuff. Step it up in 2017, Hasbro. Yeah, you see there, they did just a really good job with that the unmasked head sculpt. But getting back on track, yeah, Deadpool was great. I have to mention Cable. Cable didn't make my top 10, but the fact that you can get a Cable and Deadpool paired up and take pictures and do your A.C.B.A. is great. The Cable figure was great. Again, didn't make my top 10, but it's a lot of plastic. It's a lot that you get for your $20 with that Cable figure. I would have liked more accessories, more bigger guns. I would have liked to see a different version of Cable, honestly, and then maybe he would have made my top 10 if it was the version from Second Coming or the version that was running around with the X-Force team. Not the original like 90s X-Force, but the one with Wolverine and Deadpool and Archangel. If we got something like that for the design of Cable, then I would have liked it more. I just didn't really like this design, but the figure was excellent. I had to mention Taskmaster from the Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure wave real quick. Definitely an honorable mention. I do like this figure a lot. Didn't like him enough to make it into my top 10. I don't like the fact that they gave you the extra head that doesn't fit with this body aesthetically. This is the Udon Taskmaster, basically. They did that same thing with the Electro and gave you the classic head, but the body and the head that came out of the package was the more modern look. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but this figure looks great. It looks great alongside Deadpool and having those two face off against each other. And I really do like this version of Taskmaster, but I would have liked to get an updated classic look from Hasbro. Got to talk about the Onslaught Build-A-Figure, which is in the back there. We finally got the actual Onslaught head with the Kitty Pryde figure from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. I kind of like how Hasbro did that and kind of strung the waves along together and really made you go out and really made you get everything. I think that was excellent marketing, and that was just genius for them to keep you engulfed in the line. I think that was cool. And finally, we got a legit Onslaught in the version that everybody finally wanted. Didn't make my top 10, but it's a very, very nice figure to go along with your X-Men figures. Coming in at number 2 was the Sandman Build-A-Figure Wave Black Suit Spidey. Pizza Spidey mold, black suit. Enough said. That's pretty much what everybody's been waiting for. You can use him as your Peter Parker in a black suit. You can use him as your Matt Gargan in a black suit. It works well with the Dark Avengers too, man. I just took some pictures and shot some video of him with some of the other Dark Avengers, and it looks great. Figure's great, man. Aside from a few little quality control issues that you may face when picking this guy up, you definitely need to look through the different packages in the aisle. This guy's super case, so just make sure you pick up one with great paint. But the figure is great, man. I'm a Spidey fan to the death. Spidey's one of my favorite characters, and I think this guy came out great. Maybe they could have did something a little different with the head sculpt. We'll see what happens in the year, what people do as far as kit bashing and customizing, but this guy was my number 2. And some honorable mentions, Spider-Man UK and Spider-Man 2099 from that same Sandman Build-A-Figure wave. Great figures. 2 totally new bucks. I'm excited to see what Hasbro's going to do with those new bucks. I didn't really like the look and the design of the Spider-Man 2099 figure, but like I've been saying, that buck is tremendous. It's a great new body mold. Same thing with Spider-Man UK, aside from the little issue with the gappage at the shoulder. Again, I'm excited to see what they do with those bucks moving forward. And no surprise here, Wolverine made my number 1 Marvel Legends figure of 2016. Wolverine made my number 1 figure of 2016 overall. So if you saw the last video, you already knew Wolverine was going to be number 1. Somebody had mentioned when they finally do the Tiger Stripe Wolverine on this particular buck. Of course, that's the only thing that's going to be able to trump this particular Wolverine is when they put him in that Tiger Stripe uniform, and then that will probably be the best Wolverine of whatever year that comes out in. Maybe we'll see that in 2017. I'm not sure. But again, somebody also mentioned, the lack of paint applications on the actual body and on the claws. And yes, even with that said, still the best Marvel Legend that came out in 2016, in my opinion. You can paint the claws, you can swap out the claws, you can give them a little detail. I did hear somebody mention at one point that he didn't have the hair on his arms, which, yeah, I think that was a fail as well. But let's see what happens. Maybe they will take all of that into consideration when they do release the Tiger Stripe version, and we'll see all of that. I think that Hasbro is pretty... they frequent the boards and the A.C.B.A. board and the Foosh board and these different places. They're there. They're lurking. They're around. I see Jesse Falcon comment every so often in that group. They definitely know what's popping. They know what's going on. They know what the people want. And yeah, I think they will take all of these suggestions into consideration, and we'll see some great things in 2017. So that was my top 10 of 2016 from Marvel Legends. And let me know what you think. If you're going to thumbs down on the video, don't be a punk. Just say why you thumbs down on the video. If it's just that you don't like me, then go ahead and comment that. Say, hey, Boog, I hate you. And that's fine. But don't be a punk. Let's be interactive. Let's talk about it. And yeah, I try to respond to as many comments as I possibly can. And that's what it is. All right, moving on. Next video, I think I might do some of the worst picks of 2016. Not sure. We'll see. But until next time, peace.
That's crispy.